I thank Her Excellency Ms. Turković for her statement. The representative of the Russian Federation has asked for the floor to make a further statement. You have the floor.
Thank you, President. We want to put a question to Madam Turković. Distinguished Minister, please don't take this personally, but this is something that requires clarification. The question is as follows. Does the statement that you made today reflect all the entities that make up Bosnia and Herzegovina? Is your position been coordinated with the Presidium of the country, and how has it been done? I'm asking you this question because we received a letter from the chair of the Presidium, Milorad Dodik, who stated that you don't have legal right to state to make a statement in the council because your position, your statement was not agreed with all the entities of Bosnia and Herzegovina. As we understand it, the provisions of the Dayton Agreement assumes that, as we understand it, the provisions of the Dayton Agreement imply that issues of foreign policy is the shared responsibility of all the entities of Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is why such program statements obviously must be coordinated with all the entities. If that is not the case, then the conclusion seems to be made that everything that you've said today can be considered as your own personal view. Obviously, you have every right to make that. However, it appears that it does not reflect the position of Bosnia and Herzegovina. We're convinced that, quite to the contrary, it's very important to adhere to the principle of the parity of the three entities, the three nations making up the Bosnia and Herzegovina. Otherwise, instead of resolving the situation, we will only worsen the situation. Mr. President, we've heard many statements today that all the legal requirements for the appointment of the High Representative were complied with, that the Security Council plays no role in this, that this is a matter that's closed. Well, it's quite surprising, but when we appointed all the previous High Representatives, the consensus was required in the steering board, and the role of the Security Council, no one put it in doubt. So you continue to play the same games with us that we mentioned earlier that are unacceptable. You don't heed the views of the members of the steering board or the views of the entities and nations make up the country, and you push through your decisions. And I can tell you that the authority of the so-called appointed High Representative Schmidt, this will not add to his authority, to his status. Thank you.
Ms. Turković, would you like to respond?
Actually, I would like to ask His Excellency, does he has authority by his minister, Mr. Lavrov, to pose that question which he posed to me? Obviously, if you do not have authority of Mr. Lavrov, it is personal expression of your own. And I'm not willing to give any answer to your personal questions, but if you can prove that it is coming with authority of your minister, then yes, I will tell you that all what I said is based on strategic documents of foreign policy adopted in Bosnia and Herzegovina, which are guiding documents for all that what I'm doing, what I did, and what I'm going to do, despite the fact that those who dislike Bosnia and Herzegovina and putting a lot of effort not to make it functional would not agree with me. But majority certainly, and those who are creating strategic documents, who adopted them, and who are coming from all three constituent people and other citizens of Bosnia and Herzegovina, certainly would support and would expect from me to represent all views which I'm doing.
Thank you. Russian Federation.
Yeah.
Well, I will gladly answer your question, Madam Minister. I can assure you that I'm fully authorized to speak on behalf of the Russian government. I've been authorized by the president of the country, Putin. I submitted my credentials to the Secretary General. You can be absolutely certain that everything I say from this rostrum is an official statement on behalf of the Russian Federation. Quite to the contrary. I don't know whether you want a written confirmation by Mr. Lavrov, but you don't have such a letter, but we do have a letter signed by the chair of the Presidium of Bosnia and Herzegovina. That letter does exist, which states that you are not authorized to speak on behalf of the country on this issue and to express your position as representing the interests of all the constituent peoples of Bosnia and Herzegovina. That is my answer to your question.
Yes, Madam Minister.
I wouldn't like to enter into debate, but I would like just to remind esteemed colleague that we do have 3 members of presidency, and in order to come with a statement as yours, you would need to have confirmation of all 3 of them, or at least majority of member of presidency. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Then I want to ask, Madam Minister, how am I supposed to interpret what you're saying? Say, in order to speak on behalf of Bosnia and Herzegovina, just as in the steering board, a consensus is not necessary. Simply a majority is sufficient. Is my understanding correct?
Yes, Madam Minister.
Dear Ambassador, Minister of Foreign Affairs of my country does not need approval of any member of presidency to address the audience. However, if somebody wants to set limitation, then those limitations should be agreed, should be raised at the presidency and agreed by all. I don't think that it is a fruitful discussion, and I'm really not willing to continue to waste time of all your esteemed colleagues.
Actually, as President, I agree with the lady's statement. Please, Vasily.
Как и вы.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, Mr. President. I don't intend to prolong this discussion. I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that we are in an open meeting here, and the interested parties will be able to have access to that meeting. And I don't think it's up to us here whether the authority that the minister has, whether she received it to represent Bosnia and Herzegovina, what statements she is authorized and what statements she's not authorized. I think this is a matter that should be decided in Bosnia and Herzegovina itself, and I'm sure that today's meeting will be carefully watched there, and let them decide themselves whether Madam Turković was authorized to make this statement or not. Thank you.
Much. There are no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. The meeting is adjourned.